a couple of loaves of bread.
Go for the multigrain.
Is that what you guys want to have, the multigrain?
Yeah.
All pretty standard stuff, but it's what's coming up next where temptation starts.
Okay, here comes the naughty section, the frozen ice cream section. We're having boysenberry. Do we all agree?
No, so we've got a no, and then how many yeses have we got?
This one is chocolate.
Yeah, how about we do jelly tip because we all like jelly tip.
Uh-oh. If the boys are picking the ice cream, then I'm picking the seasoning. And wouldn't you know it, the Simon Gold Home Cuisine range is on the special.
Yes.
For your steak.
Yes. And what
So,
do you recommend?
Well, either the Kiwi or the Italian or the Moroccan is pretty good. It'd be pretty good on those steaks that you're going to cook on the barbie. What the Virgos don't know is that I'm actually looking at how much processed food they buy. Processed food makes up almost 80% of what's available in your average supermarket. And when you get down to it, many of these products contain at least one of only 3 core ingredients, and none of them have any nutritional value.
Basically, the 3 commodities that food companies used in large amounts because they're very cheap to make this huge range of processed foods available to the public are basically refined starch from grains, whether it be corn, soy, wheat, barley, oats, rice, sugar, usually refined sugar, either from cane sugar, which is sucrose, or high fructose corn syrup, which they extract and make from excess corn that's grown, particularly in the US. And the third major commodity is cheap vegetable oils.
Combining these high-calorie, low-nutrient ingredients creates processed food, but it's the ultra-processed variety which dominates our modern diet.
Ultra-processed food is a specific level of processing where a lot has happened to the food, and it's basically not at all recognizable to the food it was originally. So, for example, we have cereals or biscuits, chocolate, and those kind of foods. That's not something that grows in nature, so a lot of processes have been applied to make that product.
Processing food alters it in many ways.
Heating gets rid of all the vitamin C in a product, but also often a lot of additives are added. So, for example, sugar, fat, and salt, and refined oils, they are added to these ultra-processed foods, making them very energy dense and also not very nutritious.
Meanwhile, the Virgos are continuing their shop, and the boys are now making all the decisions. What you like?
That's what they like.
Bodies?
And they can go through litres of it.
Ready? How much sauce do you go? Ketchup do you go through?
They could easily do one of those in a week.
With the grocery shop thankfully almost done, the Virgos just need to decide which cereal to buy.
Do we want Wheat Bix Bites this week?
But it might not really matter, as apparently they're all exactly the same.
In our study, we found there's more than 200 or close to 300 different types of breakfast cereal, but they're basically all variations of the same products. So it's the same kind of grains, and there lots of sugar and lots of syrups in those products. And often they're also made by the same manufacturers. So it looks like there's a lot of variety, but basically it's all the same products.
Back at Virgo HQ, we've separated the groceries into 2 camps. And when you add it up, the processed food makes up 60% of the total shop, which is pretty typical. But what's wrong with processed food? After all, it's cheap, convenient, and addictively tasty.
Never monotonous diet.
Yeah. I've come back to California to meet Dr. Aaron Blaisdell, who has been testing the effects of processed food on rats. I mean, Aaron, I never thought I'd say this, but they actually look quite cute.
Well, they are.
I mean, I've always thought rats, ooh, but like, they're kind of cute. So tell me, what are you doing with these rats?
Well, I want to study obesity and then how that affects cognition.
So, tell me, how does it work with these guys? What do you do?
Well, I get different rats. They're all the same type of rat. Some of them are put on these kind of a relatively natural diet. So this is a food pellet made from just grinding up fish meal and wheat and corn, things like that, and actually quite nutritious for a rat. And then I have another group of rats that eats a very similar type of pellet, but made of highly refined ingredients. So what this allows us to do is compare a healthy diet to a processed diet.
And So what's the difference?
Well, the difference is that the ones on the healthy diet stay healthy, lean, and smart. The ones on the processed food diet, they get fat, they get obese, and they even started accumulating tumors very quickly, and they started dying.
These two rats in here, you're slim, healthy guys. How big did the rat that got fat and died get?
Well, I could show you, so you can see for yourself. Right here is a picture I took of the two side by side. And you see that the fat one is obese. I mean, bulging at the sides, and the lean one looks like these girls.
When they get morbidly obese like that, do they get diabetes?
They did. It was crazy. We didn't expect it. We weren't measuring it from the blood, but we noticed that the urine, it was sweet. So they were obviously pissing out sugar. They were diabetic.
You've shown what the different diets do in rats. How does it affect humans, us, on a day-to-day basis?
Well, there's not really much difference between a human and a rat in terms of our physiology. The way a bad diet affects my rats is really the same way a bad diet affects us. We're not just getting fat, we're losing our mental functions, our ability to pay attention, our ability to work, and we're starting to get tumors and cancers at a higher rate and dying younger. Then the implications for society are quite severe, and we need to do something now to address that.
Processed food makes up much of our modern diet, and it is contributing to the obesity and diabetes epidemic. If this stuff is bad for rats, then it's definitely bad for us. Okay, I'm fat. Putting on weight is bad enough, but where the fat is also important. The worst kind of fat is visceral fat. That's the internal fat stored around vital organs, and it's a key factor in obesity and diabetes. I've come to the University of Auckland Faculty of Medical and Health Sciences to see how much of my fat is visceral fat. Normally MRI machines are reserved for cancer patients, so I'm extremely fortunate to be allowed to use this one to scan for body fat. But I'm really nervous. Not only do I hate small spaces, but being bombarded with radiation doesn't fill me with confidence either.
And all the white bits are
12 more videos on the way.
Between the space, you have massive amount of fat.
Slide after slide reveals a litany of organs in serious trouble. It is unwelcome and upsetting news for me. All I want to do is run home and curl up on the couch with some ice cream.
My Prince again on the P game.
Things worse.
12 more videos.
Into numerical.
11 more videos on the way. And for
And
now,
the result, well, you can't even see
we
it's just pitch black, and but for you, it's quite a lot. And that's where you